Okay, so now rather than working on the nose, I sort of always save the nose till last just because it's a really complex shape and I sort of need to spend some time on it to get it right. Same with the ears. I like to wait and do the ears till I'm almost done with the head. But the next thing I want to do is start blocking out the entire shape of the head rather than just sort of this mask area. And this will just help me get a real feel for like the shape of the head. And you know, we don't always see every detail in 2D. You know, I have a front and a side view, but like it's not giving me the you know, it's not quite as tangible as a 3D object. So I need to start like shaping out the size and shape of the head. And I'm going to do this by sort of building a cage around the head. And then I'll use that, I'll have a cage, and then I can sort of just like fill in the blanks. So let's start with the top here. And I did have this area that I kind of touched on and said I'm probably going to need to do something about that, about this area right here. So I think what needs to happen, whenever I extruded this part out here to come to the middle, I probably should have grabbed this piece of geometry right here as well. So I think what I'm going to do to kind of start cleaning this up a little bit is just fix that area first. So I'll go ahead and control delete those, and that way I got rid of the vertices as well. I'll grab my cut polygon tool, and then basically that will give me an edge loop that goes all the way through, and then I can grab this guy, cut it there, and that gives me a little bit more room to sort of move things around, and the geometry itself will start looking a little bit better. And let's see, I think what I want to do is grab this edge here and extrude it in a little bit like so. I'll use my merge vertex tool and merge that guy down. I want to keep everything in quads at the moment. So so let's see. I think I'm just going to use my multi-cut tool. Cut that edge there. That way that's a quad. And then I can delete that edge. So now I have everything in quads. I have that nice edge loop that goes all the way around the eyes. I have the edge loops around the eyes, and that's looking nice. It is a bit messy here, so I probably need to jump into my front view or side view and fix that a little bit. And so this, yeah, these guys need to come way up now. Oops. This is the part of the brow that's really going to start flattening out here, so I just want to come in and make sure that I get that shape to where it's starting to point in the right direction. You know, want everything to be round at this point. Might need to come in and add another edge loop in there eventually. Let's look and see what that looks like at the moment. It doesn't look too bad. I think it gives us something good to work with. So what I'm going to do is grab this edge here, and I'm basically going to extrude it all the way around. I'm going to come up here and go all the way around to the back, the base of the neck. So I'm not going to add all the points right off the bat. I'm going to extrude, and I'll just move up here, hit my G key to repeat, move down here, and like that. And then I can come in with my edge loop tool, and I can sort of add an edge loop and then just move those to line them up a little bit as I add them. I don't want to get, again, I don't want to add too much geometry because I don't want to get overwhelmed. So I'm just kind of doing it in the half point, and then I'm moving up and doing it in the half of that. Until I have somewhat of a shape going all the way around, and this will just create a cage for the head. And I'll probably want to come in as well and sort of pull some of these edges out. Like so. And take a look at that smooth. Doesn't quite go as high as we want it to, so we can come in and just edit that a little bit. Looks like our front and side views aren't quite lined up the way they should be. But that's okay. All right, so we got that. The next thing I want to do is kind of outline the chin a little bit, and then go down and outline the jawline. The jawline is especially tricky, so we'll have to kind of be careful with that. But we'll start with the chin. So I'll grab this edge and extrude down. I generally don't like modeling in smooth mode. I'll switch back and forth, but there is a certain amount of problems that can happen whenever you model in smooth mode, because your vertices or vertexes aren't necessarily going to be where you think they are whenever you're in smooth mode. So a lot of times you'll see me select something. Let's see if it will happen up here. So you'll see, even though I have this vertice selected, my cursor or my move widget is way up here, because that's where your geometry, or that's where that vertex really is. So it's okay to check and go back and forth between smooth and non-smooth, you know, just hitting your 1 and 3 keys. But it's really a good idea to always model in not in smooth mode. Okay, so we got that chin there. Okay, so now I want to do the jawline. The jawline is especially tricky because you're going to have to go back and forth between the views before you get it exactly right. So just bear with me here as I work on this. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab this edge here, and I'm going to extrude. I'm going to start by pulling that all the way to sort of this corner of the jaw in my front view, and then I kind of want to try and get that matched up over here. So that corner. So it's something that's going to be really tricky, and chances are it's not going to be perfect. Anyway, we try to, anyway, we sort of try to maneuver it. So we just need to get it close. Looking here, and it definitely needs to come out further. And this is another time that I'm just going to have to make like a executive decision here. And you know, it's probably, chances are it's not going to line up perfectly with either one of our views. So I'm just going to have to kind of put it somewhere and then tweak it later. So I'm going to kind of line that up there, and then I will extrude again. Oops, don't want to extrude my vertices. So this is going to happen. You know, you're going to run into some issue like this where things aren't lining up correctly in all views, and you're just going to have to use your creativity and your, you know, your best instincts as to where you want to put that. And once we get the entire head shaped out a little bit, it'll start to look, you know, things will start to make a little bit more sense. So so it won't be so bad. And then I'm going to add more edge loops as I go and try to just try to make things work. It's basically what all I'm trying to do here. And you know, I am being very careful and looking in all of my views at once, because it's very easy to do something like this and it might look kind of right in your front and it might kind of look right in your side, but it's clearly not going to be anywhere close to right in your perspective view. So just constantly look at everything from all views. And this guy has kind of a pointy chin, so this is something that I'll probably be tweaking a lot even after I'm sort of done with this little section here. So this is again, this is something where you're going to tweak this until you're just satisfied with it. It's not going to match your orthographic views, so don't spend too much time trying to make it match. So I think for now that's kind of working out for us. All right, so then I want to basically take the one of these edges on the eyes and just sort of bring it all the way back to the back of the head. So I'll just go with this guy, and I'm going to bridge these. So just make it nice and easy for us. So I'll select that guy, and then the where I want to bridge those together, and I'll just click my bridge tool. And then again, I'm going to just add in edge loops. And this is something that you really kind of just have to look at in your perspective view. You're probably not going to be able to get it right by looking too much into your front or side views. So just be careful and look in your perspective view and try to give it that round shape that you're kind of looking for, just by adding a little bit of geometry at a time. And as far as the ears go, the ears are going to be taking up a lot of this real estate, but the way I generally like to do the ears is model the head without them, and then I will model the ears in a completely separate file and then attach them. So I can probably try to bridge these two guys together now, like that. And so I have that cage going on for the head. And then I'll go ahead and bridge this guy with this guy. And I'm not really making my decisions for this based off of anything. So try not to, it's not necessarily important for you to follow me verbatim everything I do. Just try to make your own guesses with things. I'll probably bridge these two as well. It looks a little bit like a cone head at this point, but I can go in and eventually this guy will start making a lot more sense, and the shapes will start making sense once you have this thing sort of caged out here. Like so. Now for this area here, for the eyes, basically what we want to do is join this probably this part of the eye with this part of the mouth. So I'll bridge those two guys together, add some edge loops. That was the previous YouTube video finally being uploaded. And again, I can't stress enough how important it is to not add too much geometry. It's very easy at this point to just start clicking and adding, lots of geometry here and there. But I just want to stress to try and force yourself not to do that. All right, so we got that cage for the head set up. So now what I want to do is start filling in some of these gaps. So easiest way to do this, we can either use our append to polygon tool, which can be pretty useful. What I like to do though is use our fill hole tool. Let's see if we still have that in the same same place it used to be. Maya 2015 has rearranged our tools here a little bit, so just got to find it. Fill hole. So it's under mesh. So what I want to do here is just select an edge in the hole that I want to fill in, and go to mesh, fill hole. And that will add a giant indgon there. But what we can do at this point is just use our multi-cut tool and multi-cut tool. And then let's see, probably do something like that. We will have a triangle there, but that's all right. I'm not too concerned about that at the moment. And then I just have these vertices that are pretty easy to come in and move around. So really all I did there was create two vertices that are going to be easy to edit. And again, this will probably, a lot of this will get resolved whenever I attach the ear. Again, it's not a bad thing to have a triangle in your model at all by any means, but you should try to avoid them just because they cause issues with edge loops. They don't, not really issues, it's just hard to control an edge loop whenever there's a triangle. I may try to make an edge loop here, and that edge loop could jet off in a direction that I don't want because there's a triangle there. So just try to avoid them while you're modeling. You know, towards the end you're going to get them, and there's no avoiding that. So that's not looking too bad. I could probably go in and smooth some of that out. So now we can try that same method for this part of the head. So I'll just select an edge here, and let's go ahead and add our fill hole tool to our shelf. So Control Shift, Mesh, Fill Hole, and then I can just click that whenever I need it. Now this is going to be a little more tough because we got a lot more geometry here that that we need to kind of control. So let's see, use our multi-cut tool. I wonder if we can click. It looks like we can. Enter. So yeah, that actually works pretty well. I'm still going to have to go in and edit a lot of those. Okay, so now let's just try something like this. And we'll go around from here. Go connect these guys up, stay in all quads. Check to see what that's looking like in smooth mode. So it's not looking too bad. There is a bit of a bulge right there that I'm going to have to go in and fix somehow. Probably by bringing these guys out to a little bit. But again, that's something you can worry about once you sort of have everything in place on the right geometry, or somewhere close to the right geometry. Then you can go in and start editing things like that to make it look a little bit nicer. Okay, so let's see. Let's try using our multi-cut tool and doing something like that. So now I have some big polygons there, but there's not a lot of detail in this part of the head. You know, it's just kind of these broad circular shapes. And then I can kind of try to see if I can fix the issues I have right here. I might try to save that for later though. Okay, so let's just, for now, let's move on to the sort of cheek area. So I'll just select an edge in that hole and then click my fill hole tool. And I'll use my multi-cut tool to start trying to sort of figure things out. I'm making a lot of edges here. They're not necessarily where they're going to be when I'm done. I'm probably going to come in and delete a lot of these and sort of reorganize everything. But for now, it'll just give me sort of a working surface. Yeah, sometimes you can kind of reroute things like that and then just come in and delete. Control delete. Okay, so it's not looking too bad. He does look a little freaky again because he doesn't have a nose, and I'm probably going to want to come in and clean up and edit a lot of my geometry here to get things looking a little bit nicer, sort of give him a softer look. See how much time. So yeah, that's basically blocking out the face. I want to go ahead and delete my history. I'll harden all my normals just so I can kind of see it in that mode. And yeah, I just want to go through and check everything, make sure my poly count looks decent. It's only about about 500 for half, so 1,000 altogether. Not too bad. If yours is anywhere near that, you should be okay. If it's like 3,000 or 4,000, then you have an issue. You definitely need to go in and fix some things. So all right, in the next video I will cover creating the nose and getting the rest of the head sort of tweaked and looking nice.